In this tutorial, I am going to show you how to work with the form validation process in PHP. In order to do that, I am going to show you one thing, that is email validate function, and when I will work with the practical example. I will go through that. So let's start with the example. I am going to the HTML. I am going to create a form here in the HTML, that is form post. So this is a form, so table trtd, and here I am going to create a form. For example, this form is name, and here I am going to give a input type text. Here the name will be, for example, name. Another one I am going to copy it, and the second one is, for example, email. So here the name will be email, and then I am just going to put a submit form. So input submit, and submit will be the name, and name will be form1. So value equal to submit and name equal to form1. So this is actually a basic form. If I want to run this, you will see that this is the basic form. Okay, I am going to make it autocomplete equal to off, otherwise previous information is coming in the form that actually does not looks good. So now you see that this is a basic form, name, email, and this is submit. Okay, so I will work with this form now. In order to validate the form, that means someone will just give his name and email and then click on submit, then anything will be happen. For example, I am going to make a validation here, so I am going to the top of the script. So here I am going to call if is set, then post of form1. If is set post of form1, that means if a person click on the submit button, then the request will come here. Okay, so I am going to check it if there is anything in the is set. That means in the post variable, if there is any data, so then only this one will work. Here I am now going to get the information that the form is going to pass. One is name, and here I am going to give echo this one. This is actually name, and another one will be email. So here I can give a new line like this. So let's check if it is working. I am now going to refresh this form. I am going to give a name and an email, and then click to submit the form. You see that the data is passing perfectly and there is no error. Now what I will do, I will make a form validation. That means if I will check if a person try to give an empty data, that means the name, if the name equal to null or empty, then what will happen? I will show an error message. For example, name cannot be empty. And if someone gives here the name, the email, so here I am going to give here email, and here you can tell email cannot be empty. Okay, so here like this I can call a beer, and here I can call a beer. If everything is okay, then you can write something like if the post name not equal to empty and post email not equal to empty, then echo successful or success. Okay, now what I will do, I am just going to run it. For example, I do not give anything here, so click here, there is no success and 2 error messages comes. If I give something in the name, then it will say that email cannot be empty. So this is a very simple process to validate a form. If you give both things and then submit, it is success. But for email, I will have to give another thing. For example, if email equal empty, so email cannot be empty, this is okay. Else mean email, if email not equal to empty, but if that format is a correct email address or not, I will have to tell it now. For example, a person give email, but you see that this is actually not a valid email. So I will check the valid email. I have a function for this in the PHP, so I am going to copy this, and here I will check when I am going to come into else, I am going to check if not filter var instead of email, this will be my variable name. First parameter is the name of the variable that comes using the that comes from the form post. So this is post email, and this is the first parameter that I will check, and this is the filter validate email. You have to use it like the way it has given here. That means you cannot change this name. You must have to use this one, filter validate email, and this is a part of the filter var function. So if not filter var means if the validation is not true, then what I will do, I will send an error message here, that is email must be valid, email must be valid. But problem is how I can show the success. Here you see that this one actually I can test post email not equal to empty, not equal to email. In this way many other things come here. So if you give this one submit, you see that email is must be valid. That means it is showing error message, but success message is also showing. So in order, if I try to make this validation in here, to check it here, this is actually a tough thing and a complex thing. So in order to get rid of, I can do one thing, that is two ways actually. Here I am going to show you the first way. The first way is I will not use this. What I will do, outside of the if condition, I am going to call a value into a variable, for example valid equal to 1. When there will be any error message, I will change that will be 0 here, and when there will be error email, I will give the value of the variable 0, and here also the value of the variable 0. So if there is any error occurs here or here or here, then valid will be changed. After this, if the valid equal to 1, what does that mean? I check if valid equal to 1. When valid equal to 1, the initialization, it was the valid equal to 1. When I initialized the variable, I called it the value 1. So if any error message comes anytime the valid is changed, here valid equal to 1 means there is no error occurred. So in that case I am going to show, for example, successful. This is the easiest one method that is very easy. Now if I now refresh it, now I will check name, submit, email cannot be empty. If I click here, both cannot be empty. If I give this 2 but email is invalid, submit is, it is saying email must be valid. Now if I give everything okay, for example a valid email, valid format, then submit, then everything is okay, but it is not showing echo successful. If valid equal to 1, then the valid echo successful, it should come. If valid equal to 1, okay, valid is 0. Here actually I did a wrong thing, that is not here, the valid will be actually here. Now it should work, it should work. I am going to refresh it now. Now let's give the value here, submit, email must be valid. Now I am going to give everything okay, then the successful is here. So it is working. So this is one method. In this way you can easily show the error message, and if it bypass all the error messages, and if the valid equal to 1, then the successful will come here. That means initially there will be valid equal to 1. If there is any error anywhere, then the valid will be 0, and if it bypass this, that means there is no error message comes. So valid was 1, so in this line it will be that one, and here simply I will show echo successful. So this is one method of working, but there is more simpler method. So I am going to make that off, and I am going to use another method, that is this method. So this is try catch block. I am going to copy this and show you how it works. This is very easy. Here you see that there is a try and there is a catch, two blocks here. Here try blocks means here I will write all the codes, and if there is any error, it immediately will go out from this block and it will go to the catch block. Catch block will only work if there is any error message happens. Here actually you will have to echo it, right? So echo the error message. So now let's go to proceed with that. I am going to copy this one, for example. So if the post name is equal to empty, so I will direct call it. That means I will write here that name cannot be empty. So this is one. Another one is email. So where there is email equal to empty, so here I will give the error message email cannot be empty. Another one is this, so I am going to paste it here. This is if filter valid email. I am going to remove this and use the exception here. So here I call the exception and message will be this: email is invalid, something like that. Email is invalid. This is the error message. So here this block is very clean, you see, and here if everything okay, I will just write successful, success. You see that here this code is very simple than this. Here I can easily call here success, because if there is any error, for example the name is empty, so if the name is not empty, so here it will throw an exception. That means the lines after that means these codes will not be executed. From here it will straight jump to cache, and then showing the error message it will go to the next. That means if there is any exception, it will immediately break out from the try. So echo success means it actually bypass all the exception messages. That means everything is okay, so it comes here. So you can easily tell here that echo success, no problem. So let's try with this. I am going here. Now I am going to click on the submit. Your name cannot be empty. Now if I give here email cannot be empty. Now if I give everything okay, email like this, so it will say email is invalid. If email is valid like this format, so finally it is success. So I hope you have understood how I have worked here. Now I will actually use this style in my application, because this is very simple and it will help me to work with. Here instead of showing the success message, there can be a many way so that you can show that into the form HTML. So what we can do, for example, the error message that I get here, I am going to put it into a variable. So error message equal to this, okay, and here the success message I am going to put into a variable. I do not want to show the success on the top, so success message equal to this success. So two variables I will assign, and here in this position, for example, I have a div here, or I call here like this PHP if is set success, okay, success message. That means if there is anything in the success message, then I will show it success. And if is set error message, for example like this, error message, then I will show the error message. And here I can make a style. In order to give here HTML, I can code two ways. That is, I can close the PHP, but here these are the PHP code, so I immediately can call PHP. And here inside I can use a div where I can give a style, for example color equal to green. When the success message, it will be green. And here I can again call the PHP like this, and here echo success message. The spelling will be success message, double S. So this is one way to do this task. There is another way. Instead of ending the PHP tag, I could do this thing another way. That is, I could call echo and I could bring the HTML tag here like div and last div, and here there is a style equal to color green that was here inside, and inside it I can concat the variable this way, that is success message. So I do not need to write the code like this way. So you could write also this way. So whatever you want you can do here. And when the error message, the color will be, for example, red, and I will show the error message here. So this code will look better. So I can click on submit. You see that it is coming on red text. So if there is email invalid, it is coming red, and if everything is okay, then it is coming in the green color. In order to understand it, I am going to zoom. Okay, so a perfect color is here, red, and if everything is okay like this, so the color will be this. So in this way you can easily make a form validation. If you want, you can, I am going to show you another important thing here, that is value. The value equal to something. You see that, for example, a person came here because sometimes instead of two forms there can be multiple forms, 5 text fields or 10 text field or 50 text fields, etc. can be happen. So if there is error in on particular case, for example, I gave the name, okay, the name is Smith, but in the case of email I had the error. But when I am going to click on submit, you see that the name already vanished. But I want that this will not be vanished. The thing you give here, that will not be vanished, always be there. So how you can do that? In order to make that, in the value field I am going to code a PHP variable. That is, when the name is going to be posted, you know that I have this thing in my hand, post of name. So I will check here if is set, that means if this variable has any existence, that means if is set post of name, then only it will work. Then what I will do, I will just echo and that will be post name, otherwise that will not be shown, right? So in this way you can write the code like this. I am going to copy the same thing in the case of value for the email. This is email. Now let's check what is going to be happen. If I give the name, that is correct, but email just like this, if I click on submit, you see that the fields are here. You can just change it and retry. When the form will be finally submitted, then the value should be unset. I did not unset the value. So in that case, when there will be a success message, here I will have to unset the value. That means I will have to unset the value on the post of name, and I will also have to unset the post of email, otherwise the value will not be removed. Now let's try it again, and here I am going to give here Smith and submit. It is here. Smith, but it is error. I am going to give a good format. When finally I will submit, success message comes and the value are removed. So I hope you have understood this very well. This is a very significant way to work with. I am going to show another amazing part. Another amazing part here is in this code there is a issue, there is a problem. You see that when there is a success message, then if you try to refresh the page, you will see that there is a contact from the submission issue comes in the browser. So if you click on continue, the form will again be resubmitted. So that should not be that should not come here, because a person, for example, you are going to send an email to a person, so you already sent an email. If you for accidentally refresh this and click on OK, then the form will be submitted again. But I will stop the people to do this type of thing. So how I can prevent it? In order to prevent it, I can do it into using the session. For example, the success message which is coming here, I will put it into a variable that is a session variable. So I am going to call a session, for example, success. So session success message I am going to call, and here I will put this one. So this success I will write into a session instead of a static variable. I will put it into a success variable. And here what I am going to do now, what I will do, I am going instead of unset, it is okay. So post name email, so session success message. So success, I am going to put the variable into success message, and there I will do one thing. I will call a header location. Okay, so header, then I will call a location where it will go. So it will be redirected to the same page again. So same page will be called. So header location, this one, and I have now session variable data in my hand. So instead of this, what I am going to call, I will just call here if is set of session success. Then what I will do, I will show the success message like this, echo of session success here, but I already have a echo. I am going to copy it, that is for the success message, and the variable will be here this instead of this. Now I am going to remove this variable, and after showing the data on time, it will not show second time. So immediately I will have to unset it. So I will unset this session variable. Okay, so I am going to do that, and there I am going to give an exit. I will also have to use that into the top. For example, here when I am going to call header location, here also I call the exit. Now let's check it how it works. For example, I give here Smith. Okay, there is no error message, there is a problem. I will have to do the same thing for the error message in this case. Let's try with that. For example, the success message, let's try with it. Oh no, it is not working. Why? The error message not showing because here I did not show the error message. I straight updated that. Okay, so I am back the error message. Now I am going back this error message. Now let's try. So submit. Yes, now it is coming. So when error message, then it is coming. Name cannot be empty. Error cannot be empty. Email cannot be empty. Error is email is invalid. So email is, when email will be valid, then it is coming. But okay, so error is fixed. Now let's try what is here. So the problem is I did not start the session, so that is the problem, right? So this is going, I am just going to do one thing, that is I am going back everything. When I will use a session variable, always remember that the problem is you must have to start the ob start. This is needed because I am going to use the session here, and session start. So probably this is the cause. I am now going to check it. I hope it will be solved now. So here, going here, so going, good thing. Yes, it is working. The success is now working. Okay, so there is no error now. So I am going to check here, echo success message. I am going to remove it here. From here I am going to remove these things, the success. Here I am going to also remove these things, and here this is unset. I will unset the session when the success message showing will be done. I am just going to remove it, and here unset. After the unsetting the session, it will be exit. I am going to make it off. So write like this. So this is error. So when give good format, you see that this is success. So the if you now go to refresh, you see that that is removed. So this is actually the main thing I wanted to show you through so many tasks. That is, when you give error message, it will be invalid. If you go to give something bad, submit, invalid. And in this case you can form redirection, that is no problem because it is not successful, right? So when you will give anything successful, that means any interaction with the form, any interaction with the database or sending email, in that case it is important. So when click on submit, you see that the form is cleaned and there is success. Form is clean because I redirected, so I did not set any unset message here, as I am going to redirect it. Okay, so this is very easy, and you see that there is success. When you are going to refresh this page, what is happened? This value is actually in the session variable. So first time it will show only one time. When you will refresh it again, that will be gone, because what I did, after showing it for the some time, I immediately unset that. So if you refresh the form again, it will not come here again. So this is a very good example. I hope you have understood this example very well. Thank you.